before I forget. So I do want to ask, right? Supplement wise, like, do you guys understand the full basis of supplements? Do you guys have any big questions on supplements before we dive into it? Or do you guys want to hold off until I go through it and then we could ask the questions at the end?
I am just very curious about creatine. I know I talked to you about it. I
Mm-hmm.
really want to take it. And but I don't feel that I have like the whole, like the whole spiel of how
Yeah.
like helpful it actually is.
Yeah.
Um, but if you can like talk about
Oh,
creatine, because I've been holding
absolutely.
off on ordering it because I'm like, oh, I need to like get some more.
Yeah.
But I am like wanting to start
Yeah.
taking that.
Start taking it. I would order it on this call, but let me share my screen and then I'll dive straight into it. So cool. I'm gonna make this a slideshow. So it's a little bit bigger. That way we can see it. But yeah, dude, supplement is the big thing. And I think the biggest thing that we always want you guys to remember with supplements is they're gonna be at the bottom. They're never the hierarchy. They're never going to be at the top, right? We're going to have sleep. We're going to have nutrition. We're going to have training. We're going to have, stress management. We're going to have everything else above supplements. Supplements are there to help make your life easier. We could get everything that we need off of supplements through whole food, which normally it's what we want to do, right? Because if you're having more whole foods, guess what? You're going to be eating a lot better. Quality food's going to be a lot better. It's just way better to have it through Whole Foods. But obviously, there's going to be gaps that we're going to be missing when it comes down to it. And this is where supplementation could really come in for you guys. But do we need supplements? No. I'm going to dive into pretty much all the supplements that we're going to be covering, as well as the ones not to take, because I've seen a lot of people spend money on stuff they don't need. I've spent a lot of money on stuff I don't need. I've probably spent over like $600, $700 in amino acids. And then later I learned 2 years later, they don't actually do shit. So I wish I could have that money back, get a refund real quick. But, we're going to be diving into protein powder, creatine, greens powder, multivitamins for women, prenatals, fish oils, which are going to be the omega 3s, pre-workouts, and then the EAs and BCAAs. So let's go through it, right? I'll dive into stuff that we probably should avoid, right? So with protein powder, highly recommend protein powder. And the reason why I recommend it is because it is going to be a whole protein, right? So it has all the building blocks that we're going to need when it comes down to it. So we do want to make sure we're getting that in there. And again, it just makes it so much easier to be able to get your protein intake in. If you're someone that notices, you're short 30 grams of protein every single day and you're not taking a protein powder, easy fix, right? So you can take a protein powder, usually about like 25 to like 30 grams of protein, give and take. If you're taking a vegan, it's going to be lower in protein, so you're probably going to have to do a little bit more. But I recommend taking 1 to 2 scoops max a day. Do not try and do 3, 4, 5 scoops a day. I've seen people do this. One, it's going to fuck up your digestion. Two, you're just missing out on a lot of food you could be eating that is going to keep you full for longer periods of time. The other reason I recommend it is it's going to add flavor. So if you're eating your oatmeal plain, you can always make, protein oatmeal, whatever flavor you want of protein. You have really good flavors out there. It just adds to the meal that way you're not eating a boring as meal. My favorite thing is travel friendly. Whenever I'm going somewhere, I am taking my scoop and I am taking like a pound of powder because I am gonna make sure I'm hitting my protein in. And most times, like I go through a lot of my protein because it becomes that easy option for me. So protein powder, highly recommend it. If you're looking for brands, um, First Forum is really amazing. Accent Slide is really amazing. They're pretty expensive. They're on the higher end, but again, they're third party tested. They're just quality ingredients. So that's why usually these are going to be a little bit more expensive. If you want to go for a cheaper brand that you're going to get a little bit more bang for your buck, Diamond Tides on Amazon is pretty good. I think you can get like a 5 pound tub for like $80 to $100, which can't really fucking beat that. Cannot beat that. And then there is also Rule One. Rule One's also really good too. So that right there pretty much covers protein. You should have this. It's just going to make your life a lot easier when it comes down to it. Creatine. So, Danny, you wanted to know about this one. So, with creatine, if you are not taking it, take it. It is the most researched supplement out there. There is really no backdraws to it. The only backdraw that people will complain about is going to be water retention, but you have to remember hydrated muscle is going to perform way better than a dehydrated muscle. So if you see weight spike after you start taking this, just know that it is going to be a water weight, but at the end of the day, it's going to really help you long term, right? So, as far as how much you should be taking, normally you're going to take anywhere from like 5 to 10 grams, depending on your weight. If you want to be consistent with it, just do like 7 grams. If you weigh a little bit more, you're going to be like on that 10-gram range. But the big thing with this, you do want to just take it consistently. You want to make sure you're taking it every day. So I always recommend, if you take a greens drink in the morning, throw it in there. Or if you're having a protein shake every single day, that's going to be a little reminder to make sure that you get that in there. And the reason why you want to do it is because your creatine storages get depleted. So all we're doing here by taking creatine every single day is we're actually going to start replenishing them. As far as benefits that you're going to get from this, by far some of the best, right? So it's going to help with strength. As far as, taking it, like it's one of those things that kind of works in the background. It's not going to be something where you're like, I'm taking creatine and now I'm PRing in every single lift and I'm up like 10, 15 pounds in every single lift. The way it works is it's going to help produce a little bit more force. So say like you're kind of failing on that last rep, this might be the catalyst that helps you kind of get that last rep in there, right? It's very minimal, but over time it compounds, and we want things that compound, right? So it's going to help with strength. It's going to help with energy. As far as energy goes, I'm going to try and simplify this as much as I can. Let me know if I lose you guys on this, because it's going to have some words that I just don't really like using. But when we're training, the first 10 seconds of training, we're going to use ATP, which is an energy system. So as we're going through those first 10 seconds, we're using that energy. And what ends up happening, that energy gets kind of created, or you get that burst of energy when a triphosphate or a phosphate molecule actually breaks off, because we have ADP, which is adenosine triphosphate. Once that breaks off, it becomes diphosphate. What creatine does, it comes and reattaches to that diphosphate, and it almost makes it a third one. So you can push a little bit more. That's the simplest way I can put it, right? When it comes down to other health benefits, it's good for cardiovascular health. It's good for cognitive health. So as we're aging, our cognitive health is declining, right? If you're taking creatine every single day, you can kind of slow down that regression of it, because it's going to happen regardless. I'd rather stay sharp and be able to do everything that I'm doing now when I'm 70 and 80, not when I'm 50. So very, very useful. Which one should you get? There's so many out there. Monohydrate is going to be the best one. So you're going to see a lot of like crazy names with creatine. That's all marketing. Ignore that shit. Do not buy it. If you see a creatine that's like $50, $60, do not purchase it, because you can get creatine monohydrate. You can get like a 3-month supply for like $35 on Amazon. So it's the cheapest, but it works the same. Like you don't need to get anything else off of that, right? Did that answer all of your questions with creatine? You should be taking it. So if anybody's not taking it, 100% take creatine. Cheap, very, very effective. Greens powder. So with greens, honestly, like you could have it if you're someone that's not getting a lot of vitamins and minerals. So if you are someone that doesn't really cook at home, you're not getting veggies, you're not getting fruits, this is where I would recommend a greens powder, because what you're doing here is you're just filling up those gaps. As far as if you're eating whole foods, you can probably save your money, because this is probably going to run you like $50 a month, which again, if you can save money, why not? Focus on whole foods. If you're not eating fruits and veggies, make it a habit to, have at least 1 or 2 servings every single meal. And you're going to be filling up those gaps through doing that. One of the things that I like doing, and my girlfriend is amazing at this. She got me doing this, but have a rotation of fruits and veggies. So see what's in season, see what's going to be most fresh in the grocery store, and then start doing that. That way you're getting the groceries fresh, you're getting high quality, and then you're also rotating the foods you're eating throughout the year, because obviously things are going to go in and out of season. just makes it a lot easier, makes it a lot more enjoyable, and just keeps things fun for you guys. Multivitamins, also highly recommend these. A lot of us eat like children, and I include myself in there because again, we don't want to eat freaking veggies and fruits and all the good stuff or whole foods, right? So with the multivitamin, I highly, highly recommend them. Most people are very low on certain vitamins, so you want to pay attention to that. Multivitamin is just pretty much kind of covering those gaps. For females, I highly recommend taking prenatals, even if you're not pregnant. Think about multivitamin on steroids, right? So you're going to get, bigger amounts, and then it's also going to have more iron, calcium, and choline, right? So if you're someone that notices that you're lower on iron and you're not eating red meats, a prenatal is probably going to help you out because, as you're going through your time of the month, guess what? You're losing iron. So you're going to need to supplement that. You're going to need to eat something with it. So for females, highly, highly recommend it. There's no backdraws when it comes down to it, unless you have high levels of B12, which most people are low on B12. So you should be okay there. Pre-workouts. So pre-workouts are something that I actually do not recommend a lot. But if you like to take them, if you're someone that just kind of likes them for the pump or for the energy, you can take them, right? The biggest thing that you need to remember with the pre-workouts themselves is you're not actually getting energy from them, right? Most pre-workouts are going to have caffeine, and what caffeine actually does, it blocks your receptors from you actually feeling tired, which is why you feel like you have that burst of energy, right? You're still tired. Your body just doesn't feel it. So you don't want to just keep stacking pre-workouts, energy drinks, or coffee on top of everything you got going on. If you know you're exhausted and you're beating your body up, like take a break from caffeine, allow yourself to get some rest, recover, and then, start including it in there. Do not take pre-workout past 2 p.m., guys, or 3 p.m., depending what time you're going to sleep, because these things are loaded. Most times they're going to be like 300 to 500 milligrams of caffeine. If you're having one that has 500 milligrams of caffeine, remove that, get one that's a little bit lower. And the reason why I say that is because normally when pre-workouts are very, very high in caffeine, they're going to be very low on everything else, right? They're selling you on the point where it's like, all right, it's going to get you pumped, it's going to get you going. Yeah, dude, 500 milligrams of caffeine is going to fucking do that to you. Think about it. If you drank like 10 cups of coffee, like you'd be fucking wired. That's pretty much what 500 milligrams of caffeine looks like. So definitely want to watch out for that. I see something in the chat. I take pre with no caffeine. That's beautiful, right? So those are the ones I do recommend, the pump products. So they're going to have beta alanine, which is amazing when it comes down to getting some blood flow in there. The one thing with it is if you feel like the tingles in your face or you feel itchy in your face, like that's the beta alanine. Eventually, you get kind of used to it. The pump products, I highly, highly recommend those just because, again, if you're getting more blood flow into your muscles, you're going to be shuttling more vitamins and minerals in there, which is going to allow you just to perform a lot better. So with that being said, pre-workouts, don't recommend them much, but if you're someone that needs that extra push or enjoys that extra push or, the pump, absolutely do it. If you want, something that's a little bit cheaper, get some salt, get a Gatorade, drink that. You're going to get pretty much the same thing, right? See here, BCAAs and EAAs. All right, so I'm pretty sure a lot of us have taken these. Do you guys know what these do? Do you guys understand a little bit of them? No? So when we look at protein, right? Protein has an array of amino acids. There's 27 that we want to get from them. Most times you're going to have some that are missing 9, right? So if you're eating carbohydrates like, bagels, pasta, you're going to notice that has protein tracked on them, right? But those aren't complete proteins. They're missing some of the amino acids. When you're looking at BCAAs, they have the branching amino acids, which are 3 of the main ones that we want to get. We have EAAs, which are going to have the complete 9. So if you're someone that is training fasted, you're not having a meal before you're actually going into the gym, this is where I would actually recommend EAAs. I would never recommend BCAAs because BCAAs, EAAs, they're the same price. They're both $50. BCAAs is missing 6, EAAs has all of them, right? So if you're going to get anything, I recommend EAAs. And the reason why I recommend them, if you're going to be working out fasted, is these are going to help you from going into an catabolic state. So the catabolic state pretty much means you're going to be breaking down stuff within the body. So that could be fat, that could be muscle, which means you're going to break this down so your body can actually utilize that as energy because you obviously did not eat beforehand. So having those EAAs in there, plus a little bit of carbohydrates, that is going to help you from actually going catabolic, meaning that you're not really going to be breaking down any muscle during your training sessions. And that's really fucking important because we're in the gym to build muscle. We're in the gym to get stronger. So we don't want to have the complete opposite effect of like tearing down that muscle. If you don't want to spend money on the EAAs, what I would recommend is actually, backloading your calories. So this is actually what I do now because I don't want to buy this stuff. So what I'll do is I'll have my heaviest meal at the end of the night, which is going to be loaded with a ton of carbs, very minimal fat, and then it's going to have a ton of protein. The reason why I'm doing that is because when I wake up the next day, I kind of want to have a reserve of that food ready to go for the next day. So BCAAs is don't have to have them in there, but if you're training fasted, I definitely recommend the EAAs so you don't go catabolic. Any questions about any of the things I've gone over so far? Everything's clear? Everything's good there? Beautiful. Cool. If you guys do have
sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm driving. So I know we are talking about the pre-workout. So for me, like it's convenient for me to work out after I get off work, which is like at 5. So I get to the gym around 6. But like around this time, I'm super tired. And I know you say we shouldn't take pre-workout after like 2. So what can I substitute to get that energy?
Yeah. So when it comes down to it, your energy is gonna come up over time, right?
Okay.
So right now, since working out, eating more food is still kind of like newer to us, we're going to be low energy, right? When we look at calorie intake, our calorie intake is pretty low. And then when we look at our training, we're slowly just starting getting into that consistency of it. As we bring your food up, that right there is energy. So if you're eating more food, you're going to start feeling less lethargic throughout the day. And at the end of the day, you're actually going to have more energy, right? And you can ask all the people in here that I'm feeding them a good amount, like they're starting to feel better. Danny's eating like 2,200 calories now. So, it's once you have that food, you're going to start feeling better. So the big thing with us is getting your food intake up, making sure that you're getting all your calories in, making sure that we're training and getting good sleep. If you're still feeling lethargic and tired after that, then we could probably recommend a pump product. But I think for us, it's got to come from the food first.
Okay, got it.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. Thanks.
Perfect. So start eating more food. Cool. So the last thing I do want to go over is just kind of the nose and supplementation. And the reason why I wanted to put this in here is because I think all of us have fallen into some kind of like product where like, all right, this promised us like amazing results. I'm going to go do this. Right. And it's funny because as a kid, I think I remember my mom literally trying everything. I don't know if you guys ever saw the people in like little sweatsuits to sweat a little bit more. They would put fajas around their waist so they could sweat more. I think she had like a little stepper that she would do at home. She had so much stuff. And I've learned like all this stuff doesn't work because guess who followed their example? I did, right? And I learned like this is the stuff that you want to just kind of keep away, right? A big one is detox teas. I'm pretty sure every single one of us has been like, I'm going to start a diet, but first, let me detox. Let me drink liquids for a week and make sure that my body just removes everything, right? So with detox teas, a lot of people do them because I want to get a jump start. I want to make sure that my body's good. So what ends up happening is they'll hop on this detox trend, which is supposed to be like 7 days of juices or like 7 days of a product. And the way these things work, it's a little bit of a pyramid scheme. You need to buy the product to see results. Once you stop taking the product, you stop seeing the results. So guess what? You're going to go back to it over and over and over again. These things do not work. The simplicity with detox teas, you have to look at it this way. So you're going to lose weight because you're not eating, right? That is the simple fact. Because you are not eating food anymore, you're going to drop a ton of water weight. You're not going to have a lot of food in your stomach, meaning that within that week, you're probably going to drop anywhere from like 5 to 10 pounds. As far as detoxing, our liver is amazing at this. So if you can change your dietary habits, if you can start including, again, more whole foods, fruits, veggies, quality protein, quality carbs, your body is slowly going to start removing this stuff. That's what your body does. It's very, very efficient at this. So there really is no need or reason for us to go spend money on a detox tea. That way we can just gain the weight back, right? So detox teas, stay away from them. They are not good whatsoever. Fat burners. How many of you guys have taken fat burners? No one?
Yeah.
You took some fat burners?
Thermogenics, yeah. During my cut.
What'd you take?
I just took carnitine and CLA.
Okay, cool. So do you understand how they work? Just a question. Do you understand how they work or why they were thrown in there?
Why I ran them?
Yeah.
So the reason why I ran them is just because since we're already in a low enough, or sorry, when I was cutting back then, what it was doing, it was just helping shred kind of like the extra water weight in a sense. It wasn't really like actual weight being lost, because at the end of the day, you're gonna end up getting it back. So that's obviously part of the answer, but that's what I learned through them. Don't really recommend them, like you said, but it's just literally you're just losing the water weight. That's all it is.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. So I mean, you nailed it right there. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna just help just lose a little bit of water weight. It's not actually really gonna raise your metabolism that much. When it comes down to it, I think I have it right here. It raises your metabolism up to 9.7, lasting for 60 to 108 minutes. That's very, very minimal. 60 to 180 minutes. Like that is so small. And the reason why your metabolism actually raises is because these have caffeine in them. Caffeine raises your metabolism the same amount. So you're paying $50 for a cup of coffee. Right? So with fat burners, you definitely want to avoid them. I don't recommend them whatsoever. One, they're expensive, and two, they don't really do much. The caffeine in the supplement is what's really doing all of this, right? So as far as like, trying to lose more body fat, doing all that stuff, do it through a calorie deficit. That is going to be the key, making sure we're eating less, making sure that our calorie expenditure is coming up. Those are the things that matter. Fat burners don't really do much. So again, saving you guys like $50 off of that. The last one, waist trainers. And I'm pretty sure you guys have not used them, but a lot of people will get anything to make them sweat a little bit more. And because they're sweating, they feel like they're actually going to lose body fat off that, section of the body. Body fat does not work that way. Body fat does not care about what you want. It is going to lose it the way it wants to. Some people are going to get leaner on their back. Some people are going to get leaner on their legs. Some people are going to get leaner on their midsection. We've seen people that just hold fat very differently. And the biggest thing that I can tell you guys is if you're looking to lose stubborn body fat, like you have to go through a very deep deficit. That last bit of body fat is always going to be the hardest to lose. So we have to get a lot deeper with it. We have to push a lot harder. But once you're able to lose that for good, once you start reversing and once you start doing this in an efficient manner, your body might hold it differently as well. So that is really the only thing that we can do with this stuff, right? Other than that, like don't get them, because if you're sweating in your midsection, not actually going to do anything for you. That's just water weight. You're going to regain that all back. And that right there brings us to the end of it. Did I miss any supplements that you guys want to know about? You guys want me to talk about? Questions whatsoever? Carnitine is good. Yeah, you can take carnitine. So carnitine is going to help you with a pump. And you're talking about L-carnitine, correct?
Yeah, because I remember buying one when I had first started. Tried it maybe once or twice, didn't like the taste, right? But I stopped using it because I honestly didn't know like much about it.
Yeah.
So I still have it. It's there, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if you're taking a pump product, it's already going to have L-carnitine in it. But if it doesn't have it, then you can throw it in there, and it's definitely going to help with blood flow in the pump. Yeah, so you're good there. Beautiful. Any other questions about supplements, guys? Like this is for you guys because I get a ton of questions on supplements.
Okay, so what does creatine actually do? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, let's go back. Did you miss this one?
no, I was just wondering if there's like anything. I'm still trying to wrap my head around like visually, like you said it helps you get through the last set.
So it'll help with strength and energy, but this is something that kind of just happens a little bit more in the background. So it's not something you're going to take and immediately you're just going to feel way stronger and your PRs are going to just skyrocket, right? So like I explained a little bit earlier, so the way it works and the simplified version of it is, when we're producing energy, when we're, getting energy out of the body, the first 10 seconds, we're using the ATP system. So with ATP, what it is adenosine triphosphate. So it has 3 phosphate molecules. When one of those phosphate molecules breaks off, that's where the energy is released. And that's where we're, kind of pushing that weight, right? So now it's become diphosphate. It has 2 phosphate molecules. What creatine will do is it will come and reattach that diphosphate and almost make it a triphosphate again, meaning it almost kind of recycles energy. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it just helps with cognitive health, helps with cardiovascular health, helps with everything. So if you're not taking it, highly, highly recommend it. Anybody here, go buy some creatine after this and just take it every single day. Best supplement out there for sure. What if you're on a cut? If you're on a cut, if you're on a bulk, if you're on a reverse, you can take it at any time. Creatine is a supplement that you can just take year round. As long as you're consistent with it, you're going to be okay.
So what is a supplement that you cannot take like year round? So for example, because right now I'm on my bulk, right? But eventually I'll be on a mini cut. So what's something that I should not be taking on a mini cut? Or is there like
Yeah.
I can take anything year round?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So, I mean, most supplements you can take year round. There are some that, you would include into a growing phase that would help you that probably would not make sense in a cutting phase, right? So, for example, having intracarbs, right? They make carbohydrate powders that you can take during your workouts. Normally they're about like 30 to 40 grams of carbs. What it does is pretty much it's replenishing your glucose there and then. So since it's liquid, you're able to use that immediately. The reason why it doesn't really make sense on your cut is because you don't want to be drinking your calories. If you have, 1,500, 1,600 calories, at the end of your cut, the last thing you want is, 150 to 200 calories going in there as a liquid form because it's not really going to keep you full, right? So things like that. But you could take it year round, just doesn't make sense because you're like, I'd rather have oatmeal, I'd rather have rice, I'd rather have the food that's going to keep me full. Yeah. Really good question, dude. Really good question. Any other questions, guys? I know after this call, I'm going to get somebody texting me, be like, hey, should I be taking this? Or, hey, is this good for me? Like, this is the time to ask because I can get a lot deeper with it. So any supplements that you've been thinking about taking, any supplements you took in the past that you're wondering what they do, like the floor is yours, guys.
Okay, I have another question.
Hmm?
So with BCAs, I've kind of had in my mind that I've only heard about it once, but it was more so tiered to like post workout or like if you're in the beginning stages of like working out at the gym and strength training. then someone said that they recommended using BCAAs. Is that true?
So yeah, so with BCAAs and EAAs, if you're getting an adequate amount of protein, you don't actually really need them, right? Because so you you definitely missed the beginning part of this. But with BCAAs and EAAs, the way you have to look at them, right? So there's 27 types of amino acids that we normally can't really get ourselves or produce ourselves in our body, and we have to get it from an outside source, right? So BCAAs and EAAs are those that we cannot produce or obtain ourselves, like within the body. So we have to get them through an outside source. And if you're eating an adequate amount of protein, you're already getting this, right? Because if you're eating chicken, it has the full array of the protein or the amino acids we need, right? EAAs have 3 of the 9 that we're missing. BCAAs have 9 of the 9 that we cannot produce. So if you're going to get anything, I would say BCAAs, but these are only effective if you're not eating enough protein or if you're training fasted first thing in the morning. Save the money, if I'm being honest. Do not spend it. You know, unless you're like not eating protein whatsoever, then you can include them just to help you out. But as a whole, you're eating protein, so no issue there. Any other questions?
Question. Not
Yeah.
about supplements. Not about supplements. Kind of. Okay. Before, so like pre-gym meal, what would you recommend? Like,
Yeah,
what would you recommend? Like a pre-gym meal, so
pre-gym
that I can
meal.
avoid from taking these
Yeah,
and just like eat, you know?
100%, dude. No, that's a good question. So like pre-post workout meals, those are the most important. I always recommend people like, hey, if you're gonna focus on like 2-3 meals, focus on your pre and post workout meal and like post workout. So pre-workout, you want to have simple carbs with some fats and high protein, right? So something say like jasmine rice with chicken breast and maybe a little bit of avocado in there just to help slow the digestion down is going to be helpful, right? My favorite is cream of rice with peanut butter and then a little bit of protein powder in there, right? And the reason why I do that is because they're very simple carbs. So they're not going to take long to break down. They're not going to be super heavy to where I'm going into the gym and if I'm pushing hard, I'm almost like burping my food out or like feeling it in my throat. I hate that feeling. Cream of rice, dude, I can eat it and I could go train legs hard as hell in half an hour. So digest very easily. It's very light. You have the fats in there with the peanut butter to slow the digestion down. You're good to go, right? The reason why we want to throw the fats in there is because if you just have just straight carbs and protein, you're probably going to get to the middle or like 3/4 of your workout and you're going to start feeling a little beat, a little tired. We want to make sure that we have that slow kind of breakdown throughout the session. That way you can continuously get that energy, right? Post workout, I would recommend something very, very similar. So my favorite is going to be Rice Krispie cereal with a protein shake. High carbs, very easy to digest. High protein, very easy to digest. Yeah. Post workout is actually really crucial. And the reason why I think it's crucial is because when we're training, we go into a sympathetic state. So when we had to survive, we would go into sympathetic state. Like our body needs to move. So we're producing energy very, very quickly. We just have to move. I'm not sure. I thought alarm was going off. That's a good one too. Peanut butter rice cakes. But we are in a sympathetic state. So once we come out of that session, our body doesn't actually know that we need to relax and start recovering. We know because we're done. Our body doesn't. So when we're having that post-workout meal and we're having very quick digestible carbs and protein, what it's going to do, it's actually going to spike your insulin. So as insulin spikes, cortisol levels are going to come down, right? So it's almost putting you in a recovery state a lot quicker because now your body's like, okay, rest and digest. I'm going back into a parasympathetic state versus staying in a sympathetic state.
So sorry, one more question. So is there like after I finish working out, is there like a time limit where I should be like having that post-workout meal? I've heard like within 30 minutes. Is that BS?
That's bullshit. Yeah.
All right. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, especially if you had a pre-workout meal, like nothing's gonna happen in half an hour. Let's be real. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna just like shrivel up like a raisin. Like you're okay. You know, like if you have a pre-workout meal, you can probably have upwards to like 4 hours before you have to have that next meal, right? The reason why we recommend sooner is because, again, what I just mentioned, you're able to just kind of like prime that recovery, and it's like, okay, cool. Now I'm done with my workout. Now I'm recovering. If you're recovering a lot sooner, guess what? You're going to be able to come into that next workout recovered and be able to push a little bit harder. Yeah. A lot of good questions, dude. I like it. I know who's winning the next Jeopardy.
Dude, I'm invested in supplements. Like it's it's bad.
Yeah. No, you're deep. You're deep. I just want to save you the money. Cool. Really solid question. So, does anybody else have any more questions? Again, guys, I know how many questions I get off supplements, so I want to answer them in detail. That way you guys can walk away and be like, cool, I got everything I need from it. Unless you guys feel like you just got everything you needed from it.
I'm sorry. One more. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, don't apologize. You're
I
good.
know. I knew you were gonna say that. Okay. Let's say I start taking like one supplement and I want to take another one. Is there like, can I start taking them both at the same time, or should I give my body like, no, let's try this one first, get used to that, and then let's try the second one, and then get used to that at the same time? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
okay.
I would say in most cases you're fine to just take them both, right? Unless like one is just going to kind of stack over the other. Does that make sense? But most supplements are going to work together to just help you out. So it shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. And if you're thinking like creatine, like just throw that in there. And like if you're taking other stuff, you're gonna be fine. Yeah. Cool. Did that answer all the questions I have over supplements? Yeah. All right. So if I get a supplement question this week, I'm gonna come after you guys. Cool. Before we hop off this call, just final thing. Anybody have like final questions about anything whatsoever? Supplementation, training, mindset, anything at all? No? Good.
Nope, I'm good.
Beautiful. Cool, guys. Well, that right there wraps it up. Like I said, I have this recorded. I'm going to put it on the course. If you guys don't have access to the course, which you guys should, reach out to me and I can give you guys those details so you can log into it. Creatine every day when you're sick. Creatine every single day. Creatine till the day you die. I mean that. Never stop taking it. Take more. 20 grams a day. Cool. But guys, like I said, I'm going to put this in the course. If you guys want to come back to this, feel free to. It'll always be there for you guys. If you guys have any other supplements that you want me to dive a little bit deeper in, feel free to reach out. Let me know. Vitamins, minerals, same thing. So
wait, I don't want to cut you off. Something just came up. So with creatine, are you measuring 5 grams per body? You know how the average is 5 grams? Do you adjust that per body weight? Because that's what I was assuming.
Yes. So I forgot the exact formula. I'm going to put the formula in the group chat. But there is a formula. So you go by weight. So for me, I would have to be taking around like 9 grams of creatine because of my body weight. Someone around like 180, probably around like 8 to like 9. Anything lower than that, you're probably taking anywhere from like 7 to 5 because it does go from body weight. And then I'll send you.
Because I'm taking 2 scoops a day.
So you're taking about like 10 grams because normally it's about like, yeah. You're fine. I mean, you're weighing 180 pounds. So your range is probably anywhere
from like
184.
8 to 10. Come on now.
Yeah, sorry, bro. Sorry,
Come on, bro.
sorry. Can't miss those
Round
4
up.
pounds. I forget. You're big now. I forget.
Okay, bro. No.
People
But for
don't
sure, no, I
realize.
appreciate
People
it.
don't realize that when I met you, you were like 140 pounds.
130, dog. Another 10, minus 10.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. He was 135. He weighed the same as you, Danny. Yes, he did. Yeah.
There'll be a transformation post. Hopefully,
Yeah.
once we get through this reverse, I'll put it up. Oh God, I don't like looking at that photo.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild, bro. I still have them saved, so I'm gonna put it
Oh,
side by side too. I have all of
I
them from the
guess, man.
beginning.
I guess, man. You can post me, I guess.
I got you.
Good.
Beautiful.
Oh God. But yeah, no, for sure. 2 grams a day is. I'll keep doing that.
And then I'll put the formula in the group chat. That way you guys know the exact. For Danny, I'd probably say you're gonna be around like 5 to 6 grams because you're about like 135, 136 right now. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, guys, appreciate you making it. Like always, you could be somewhere else, but you're here listening to me. Hopefully, you guys took a ton of value from this. If there is other topics that you guys want me to dive into, let me know. I want to do a little bit more education for you guys because, again, this is what it's really all about. I want you guys to leave the program just well-versed on everything that we're doing so you can not only help yourself, but the people around you. So with that being said, appreciate you guys. Let's keep crushing the motherfucking week. Set the standard.